ho, ho. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Story Time by Santa. Sit back, relax, and enjoy these wonderful stories that Santa is going to read to you, your family members, and your children. I hope you have a wonderful time. And if you like, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Santa loves you. Ho, ho, ho. Enjoy. Good evening, boys and girls, moms and dads. Welcome to another edition of Santa's Story Time. I hope you got a cup of cocoa this time, because this one's going to be so much fun. Santa's sleigh ride around the world. On a crisp, starry Christmas Eve, Santa Claus prepared for his most important journey of the year. His sleigh, polished to the bright red shine, was loaded with gifts wrapped in colorful paper and tied with golden ribbons. The reindeer, with their bells jingled merrily, were eager to soar into the night sky. As Santa climbed into his sleigh, he glanced at the long list filled with the names of children from all around the world. Each name represented a child who had been good and kind throughout the year, and Santa was determined to visit every single one. With a hearty ho, 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 and a gentle flick of the reins, the sleigh took off into the night, soaring high above the snow-covered rooftops of the North Pole. The stars twinkled brightly as Santa's sleigh sped through the sky, heading towards the first stop on his magical journey. As Santa flew over the snowy mountains of Canada, he thought about the children waiting for them there. He landed softly on a rooftop and slipped down the chimney, leaving behind presents and a warm smile for the family inside. Then, with a whisper of wind, he was off again, flying over the dense forests of Europe. Next, Santa found himself soaring high over the bustling cities of Asia, where he could see the glowing lanterns and hear the soft hum of celebrations below. He marveled at the different customs and traditions, each unique and special. In Japan, the children saw children hanging up beautiful paper cranes, symbols of peace and of good fortune. In India, homes were decorated with bright lights and colorful regola patterns. Santa made sure to leave gifts that would bring joy to each child, no matter where they lived. As Santa traveled across the deserts of Africa, the warm air filled with sounds of drums and singing, Santa smiled as he watched children dancing around a fire, celebrating the spirit of the season. He left behind toys and books, knowing that these gifts would bring happiness and learning to the children. When Santa flew over the sparkling beaches of Australia, he chuckled to see children playing in the sand, building Christmas sandcastles and splashing in the waves. Even in the warm summer air, the joy of Christmas was everywhere. Santa carefully placed presents under palm trees, his heart lit up with the joy of giving. The journey continued. Santa crossed the vast oceans, visiting islands big and small, each with its own special way of celebrating Christmas. In the islands of the Pacific, he saw families sharing meals of fresh fruit and fish, singing songs of love and togetherness. Santa made sure that each child felt the magic of Christmas, no matter how far away they lived. Finally, Santa's sleigh approached the towering skyscrapers of New York City. The city sparkled with lights and the streets were filled with laughter and cheer. Santa landed on the rooftops of all the tall buildings and gazed out over the vast city below. He thought about the children living in the busy city and how, despite the noise and hustle, the spirit of Christmas was alive in their hearts. As Santa's sleigh continued the journey, he realized something important. No matter where he traveled, no matter how different the customs and the traditions, the spirit of Christmas was the same. It was a time of love, kindness, and joy. It was a time to give and share and to bring happiness to others. As the night drew a close and the first light of dawn began to appear on the horizon, Santa made his way back to the North Pole. He was tired, but his heart was full. He had seen the beauty of the world and the joy of the different cultures and the power of kindness that connected everyone. When Santa landed back at his workshop, the elves were waiting for him with a warm cup of cocoa and cookies. Mrs. Claus gave him a hug, and the reindeer were already settling in for a well-deserved rest. Santa gathered the elves around him and told them about his journey. He spoke of the children that he had visited, the different traditions he had witnessed, and the warmth and the love he had felt in every corner of the world. And you know what I learned tonight? Santa said, with a twinkle in his eye. I learned the true magic of Christmas is that it brings people together, no matter where they live or how they celebrate. It's a time when we remember that we are all connected by love and kindness. And that, my dear friends, is the greatest gift of all. The elves nodded in agreement, their hearts filled with the same warmth that Santa had felt on his journey. They knew that the work that they did was important, not just because it brought joy to children, but because it spread love and kindness across the world. And so as Christmas morning dawned, Santa and his elves celebrated the spirit of the season, knowing that they had made the world a little brighter, a little more happier, and a little more connected. The end. Now, the true magic of Christmas lies in its ability to bring people together no matter where they are or how they celebrate. Love and kindness connect us all, and that is the greatest gift we can share. Isn't that awesome? Wow, did you drink your whole cup of hot cocoa? Because you better grab another one, because here comes story number 2. The Nutcracker and the Sugar Plum Fairy. In a cozy little town where the snowflakes twirled like dancers in the winter air, there stood a grand old house where the holiday season was celebrated with joy and warmth. Inside the house lived a young girl named Clara, who loved everything about Christmas. The twinkling lights, the crackling fire, and most of all the stories that came to life every year. One snowy Christmas Eve, Clara was given a special gift by her godfather, Herr Drosselmeyer, a mysterious and kind man with a twinkle in his eye. The gift was a beautifully carved nutcracker dressed in a soldier's uniform with bright red and gold buttons. Clara was delighted that her new friend and placed the Nutcracker on the mantelpiece, where he stood tall and proud. That night, as the clock struck midnight, something magical happened. The Nutcracker began to glow with a soft, warm light, and to Clara's amazement, he came to life. "Clara," the Nutcracker said with a bow, "thank you for caring for me tonight. I need your help with a very important mission." Clara's eyes widened with excitement. "What kind of a mission?" The Nutcracker smiled. "We must visit the land of sweets, where the Sugar Plum Fairy needs our help. An enchantment has caused the sweet magic of the land to fade, and without it Christmas wouldn't be the same for the children all around the world." Clara didn't hesitate. She reached out and took the Nutcracker's hand. "I'll help you," she said bravely. In an instant, the room around them began to spin, and when it stopped, Clara found herself in a most wondrous land made entirely of sweets. The trees were made of candy canes, the rivers flowed with chocolate, and the ground was covered in soft, sugary snow. But something was wrong. Everything looked dull and lifeless, as the magic had drained away. In the distance, Clara and the Nutcracker saw a grand castle made of gingerbread, with towers of spun sugar. Standing at the entrance was the Sugar Plum Fairy, her beautiful wings drooping with sadness. "Welcome, Clara and Nutcracker," the Sugar Plum Fairy said, her voice sweet but tinged with worry. "I'm so glad you're here. My land has lost its magic, and I don't know how to bring it back." Clara and the Nutcracker looked around, trying to figure out what had happened, when Clara had an idea. Maybe the magic of the land of sweets comes from the joy and kindness of those who visit it. If we can bring back that joy, perhaps the magic will return. The Sugar Plum Fairy's eyes lit up with hope. But how do we do that?" The Nutcracker snapped forward. "We'll need the help of all the creatures in the land of sweets. Together we can share the spirit of Christmas, the joy of giving, the warmth of friendship, and the sweetness of kindness." The Sugar Plum Fairy smiled. "Let's begin, Clara." The Nutcracker and the Sugar Plum Fairy traveled throughout the land of sweets, visiting the candy cane forest, the gumdrop mountains, and the chocolate river. Everywhere they went, they spread the message of kindness and joy. They helped the gingerbread man rebuild their houses. They shared stories with the marshmallow snowman, and they sang songs with the peppermint penguins. Yes, even the peppermint penguins got into the story. As they spread their cheer, something amazing began to happen. The colors of the land of sweets grew brighter, the air filled with a sweet scent of candy, and the magic that had been lost started to return. The final stop of the journey was the castle, where the Sugar Plum Fairy had an idea. "Let's invite everybody to a grand celebration, a Christmas party that will fill the land with joy." Clara and the Nutcracker agreed, and soon the castle was buzzing with excitement. The Sugar Plum Fairy waved her wand, and the grand hall filled with decorations made of sparkling sugar and twinkling lights. The tables were laden with the most delicious sweets. guests arrived, they were filled with joy and laughter. They danced to the music of the Sugar Plum Fairy's orchestra, a melody so sweet that it made the very walls of the castle shine with light. As the celebration continued, Clara noticed something wonderful. The magic of the land of sweets had been fully restored. The trees sparkled with sugary crystals, the river bubbled with sweet cocoa, and the air was filled with joyous laughter of all who came together. The Nutcracker tuned to Clara, and with a grateful smile, "You were right, Clara. The magic of this land comes from the joy, kindness, and the love that we share with one another." Clara beamed, and that's the true spirit of Christmas. As the night drew to a close, the Sugar Plum Fairy thanked Clara and the Nutcracker for their help. Because of you, the magic of the land of the sweets will continue to bring joy to children all over the world. With a wave of her wand, the Sugar Plum Fairy sent Clara and the Nutcracker back to the grand old house where their adventure had begun. Clara found herself standing in the living room holding her Nutcracker, who was once again assembled to her, and she knew that the magic they had shared was real and that it would stay with her. As Clara climbed into bed, she thought about the land of sweets and the wonderful friends she had made. She drifted off to sleep with a smile, knowing that the magic of Christmas was alive in her. Ho, 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 ho! Wasn't that amazing, boys and girls? The true magic of Christmas comes from the joy, kindness, and love we share with one another. When we spread these gifts, we keep the spirit of the season alive in our hearts and in the world around us. Isn't that amazing? We don't have to have all the big and baddest toys. We need to love and share kindness and hope and think of the spirit of Christmas. Ho, 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 ho!